Can a bad person be a great speaker? For Plato, persuasion was dangerous when it was separated from truth. For Aristotle, persuasion became a system: ethos, pathos, and logos. For Cicero, public speaking became political power. But Quintilian asked a different question. Not just, how do we speak well, but what kind of person deserves to speak? Visual note: this episode uses AI-assisted historical illustrations for educational visualization. They are symbolic images, not documentary footage or exact reconstructions. This is episode 4 of Communication Thinkers. So far, we have followed a path through ancient rhetoric. Plato feared persuasion without truth. Aristotle explained the structure of persuasion. Cicero showed how speech could become public power. Now, Quintilian brings the story into the classroom. For him, rhetoric was not only a tool for winning arguments, it was a lifelong education in character. Quintilian was a Roman teacher of rhetoric. He lived in the 1st century of the Roman Empire, when public speech still mattered, but the world had changed. The old Roman Republic was gone. The empire needed lawyers, teachers, administrators, and public voices trained in language. Quintilian became one of the most influential educators of this world. His major work, Institutio Oratoria, was not just a manual for speeches. It was a complete vision of how to form an orator from childhood to public life. To understand Quintilian, we need to understand his problem. In earlier Roman political life, rhetoric was tied to the forum, public debate, and republican politics. But under the empire, speech became more complicated. Orators still needed skill, but skill alone could become dangerous. A clever speaker could defend injustice, flatter power, or manipulate an audience. So Quintilian's question was urgent. How can society train speakers who are not only persuasive, but responsible? Quintilian is often remembered for one powerful idea. The ideal orator is a good person skilled in speaking. That phrase matters because it joins two things that are often separated. First, the speaker must know how to speak. But second, the speaker must be morally formed. For Quintilian, rhetoric was not simply technique. It was ethics, education, judgment, and public responsibility. One of Quintilian's most important insights is that communication training begins long before the public speech. The orator is not created in a single speech class. The orator is formed through childhood education, reading, imitation, correction, memory, practice, and moral guidance. This makes Quintilian different from a simple speaking coach. He is asking how a whole educational system produces the kind of person who can speak responsibly in public. In communication theory, this is why Quintilian still matters. Aristotle gave us ethos as one mode of persuasion. The audience trusts the speaker because the speaker appears credible. But Quintilian pushes the idea further. Ethos is not just something you perform during a speech. It is something you build across a life. Your credibility is not only in your words, it is in your education, conduct, judgment, and relationship to truth. This idea is surprisingly modern. Today, we are surrounded by persuasive speakers. Politicians, influencers, advertisers, executives, activists, and content creators. Many people can speak smoothly. Many can hold attention. Many can tell powerful stories. But Quintilian would ask, should we admire persuasive skill by itself? Or should we ask whether the speaker uses that skill responsibly? But Quintilian's ideal also has limits. The phrase, "the good person speaking well," sounds noble, but who decides what good means? In the Roman world, education was not equally available to everyone. The ideal orator often meant an elite male citizen trained for public authority. So today, we can learn from Quintilian while also asking a critical question: whose voice gets trained, trusted, and heard? Quintilian matters because he refuses to separate communication from character. He reminds us that public speech is never just a performance. It is a responsibility. A society does not only need people who can win arguments, it needs people who can speak with judgment, fairness, and care for the public good. In that sense, Quintilian turns rhetoric into an educational project. To teach communication is also to ask what kind of person the speaker is becoming. So, Quintilian gives us a lasting question. Before we ask whether a message is persuasive, we should ask what kind of person is speaking and what kind of public life that speech creates. In the next episode, we move from Roman rhetoric to Augustine of Hippo, where communication becomes a question of signs, interpretation, and religious truth. This is Communication Thinkers. Thanks for watching.